Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to all of y'all. Welcome to another episode 121 of Cliff Notes Live. A good Monday night to y'all. The last Monday in March. The last Monday that we will ever have in March of 2023, right? And then we move on. Next week it'll be April. April showers bring May flowers. May flowers bring Big Brother contestants. Yeah, we're getting close to Big Brother USA. I want to talk about that a little bit when we get a chance here in a second. But I hope y'all are doing fantastic, as I typically do. First things first, a big old SKD 143. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love reality TV fans. But I especially love you guys that are out here watching live or watching it on replay, either one. Thank you. Thank you for coming out and spending y'all's Monday evening with me. God, episode 121. So welcome to all of y'all. It's 2 years and so. Wow. All right. Hey, as I go along, I think I got everything set up. If video, if volume, if anything else sacks up, the reason I say this, please let me know. Because I went back, I saw an episode from a couple of weeks ago. Something screwed up. I had my computer microphone instead of my better microphone. Sounded like I was talking to y'all from a submarine underneath the water or something. So anything acting a little silly, let me know, and maybe I can fix it. Maybe not, but we'll see. Welcome to all of y'all. For those of you who celebrate, I don't know if celebrate's the right word, for who follow it, a blessed Ramadan to you. When I was in that Big Brother house, everyone always goes in there and takes Bibles, and I get it, but I kind of thought about taking a Quran in there just to learn something new, just because I knew I was going to have downtime in there, and thought, well, that would be kind of interesting to take an opportunity to read some of this. Faisal had been in the season before. He was Muslim, and I didn't do it. I ended up taking a Bible in myself, but I asked once I got in there, said, hey, being that it's religious text, could I get one? They said, nah, Cliff, we're not going to do that. I think they didn't think I'd respect or something, but absolutely I would have. I was just there for learning. But a blessed Ramadan to those of you who are celebrating it. It's almost dark in some parts of over on the East Coast. You can eat dinner again. All right, let me go before I go any further. Let me give a quick little hello to those of you who are out there. Ma, welcome aboard. I'm glad to see you out here. Marilyn Sutherland as well. Hi, Marilyn. How are you doing? Jake, the horror movie geek. I'll mention something to you here in a second. We'll do that. Cindy Heyer. Hey, Cindy, how are you doing as well? Brian Husteller. I hope you're doing fantastic. Michelle Moore. REM. I guess that's how I always stuff there. Right? It's REM, right? Makes me think of all kinds of good music. But let's see who else I got. Keith Franken as well. Keith, how are you doing? And I think that's it. I don't think I skipped it. All right, yeah, I got down to that. I hope y'all are all doing fantastic. Welcome aboard yet again. Someone, was it you, Cindy? I don't remember. Someone mentioned my background. Yeah, I wanted to mention that. Yes, Cindy mentioned spiralgraphs. I was wondering, and REM mentioned cool graphics as well. Yeah, Michelle, we'll talk about the other one in a second. The airplane. Yeah, I didn't know how many people would even recognize a spiralgraph. The cheating man's way to do fancy doodles and everything, right? I did that because today is National Scribble Day. Lord knows I do. I don't call it scribbling. I call it doodling. I'm nowhere near any kind of artist. I kind of wish I was. That'd be cool if I could do all those fancy paintings on. No, I don't. But I do scribbles. I do doodles. And as a kid, I did a whole lot of spiralgraphs. I like to think that it helped me develop a little bit of an engineering mind, because I remember sitting there with those spirographs. They've got all different kinds of gears and different holes that you put your pins in and all that. I remember trying to do all kinds of figuring out, why does this make a big loop? Why does this make a little one? And trying to figure out what made a spirograph work. So yeah, I always love those kind of toys. Try to get some of those for my kids as well. Toys that you learn a little bit as you go as well. So yeah, there's your National Scribble Day. Yeah, it's fun. I don't know if y'all know this, but after we get out of the Big Brother house, while we're waiting for the final, it's boring. Everyone just wants to go home at that point in time, or at least I did. I was stuck in a sequester spot for a week. Nothing to do. I was just mad at everything. I just wanted to go home, cast my vote, go home at that point in time. But some of the Big Brother people came in at one point and said, Cliff, we've got some canvases, we got a whole bunch of paints. We need you to paint two things for us while you're sitting here in sequester. I said, yeah, okay. What do y'all want me to paint? And they said, that's completely up to you. Whatever you paint is fine, but it's going to be then auctioned off to charity once you get done. I said, okay, well, yeah, I guess I can do something. So I ended up doing two different paintings. One of them was trying to do a view from the backyard of the Big Brother house, looking out, and each wall of the house had one was labeled stress, one was labeled disappointment, all the kind of things that make you sad while you're in the house. And then the blue sky above and the clouds and everything, I had listed words like freedom and family and news and all the things I was looking forward to about being outside the house. So I thought it was all symbolic and everything. I thought it was kind of cool. But I did that. The other one I did was actually me holding a kind of like a thumbs up. I do a lot of that, right? But holding a torch, kind of like the Statue of Liberty, just the hand and a torch. And a torch said something like integrity. And I thought, all right, well, I'm trying to represent maybe how I tried to play the game and all that. So I was trying to be all symbolic. So I did those two paintings. Kind of proud of it, considering I'm not an artist. I don't know whoever won those things. I never actually saw the auction. They auctioned them off and donated the money, I guess, to Give Kids the World. But I found out later, everyone had to do it on my season, but everyone else got to do it as a group. They didn't just have to sit off at a spot all by themselves. They did it while they were all together in the Big Brother house. So they got to share ideas and critique each other's paintings and have fun with it. Now, not me, because I was evicted so late, I didn't get to hang out in the jury house with the rest of the castmates. So mine was purely a solitary affair, but I thought I did okay with it. So anyway, a long story all about National Scribble Days. All right. What else? There were some other things I was going to talk about. Michelle Moore saying, are you leaving on a jet plane? No, Michelle, I'm not. At least I don't think I am. I think I'm grounded for a little while. Now, if you look at my little teaser on Instagram and the thumbnail for YouTube as well, there's a picture of me. Not actually, I kind of, but there's a picture of an old Russian Antonov 24, AN-24 is what they call it. I put that on there because I watched a movie over the weekend called Plane. Have y'all seen it with Gerard Depardieu? I think, who is this? Maybe not. What's his name? Gerard Butler. Depardieu sounds kind of good, right? There's someone else named Gerard Depardieu. But anyway, Gerard Butler. He was in this movie called Plane. And I don't want to give away too much. I can talk about the first part because I get into it real quick. A plane that has some issues trying to fly over Asia. They're forced to land at a location that doesn't have real friendly people in it. We'll just leave it at that. Not real friendly people, kind of a desolate, isolated area. And as a result, they really are having to fight for their lives, fight for survival, and just trying to survive. It's pretty cool movie. I'm not going to win any Academy Awards or anything, but I enjoy it. It's called Plane. Check it out if you get a chance. But watching that and watching the plane, and then it made me think about a few travel stories. I was going to tell us later, but I'll go ahead and tell us now. Then we'll talk about reality TV. It made me think about two separate situations. Maybe I'll cover them both. We'll see. One, Kazakhstan. I went over there, do oil and gas stuff like I typically do. I spent some time over on the west side of this country. When it was time to go home after a week or two, the people drove me to the airport. They said, okay, Cliff, we're going to put you on this airplane. You're going to fly back to the capital. There you'll change planes and fly home. Okay, fine. Yeah, so I'm just flying straight to the capital, right? Oh, yeah. Just get on the plane and on. Well, the plane, when I first got into Kazakhstan and flew across country, it's like a 737. It was a nice plane, nothing special, but it was fine. I get on this plane, I get at the airport to fly back, and I come up on the most god-awful looking plane, looking exactly, it's the same model that I put in my little teaser, this Antonov 24. It was built by the Russians, brought into service in the 1950s. Yeah, it's that old. Even back then, this is probably early 2000s, I think. I see this plane. I'm looking to see if it's actually put together with duct tape anywhere because it's looking bad. But yeah, what am I going to do? I want to go home. Now, if it was going there, maybe I would change my mind, but I had to go home. So I see this old beat up prop plane. It only holds, I think, 30 or so people normally. I get on the plane. Well, the first thing I notice is that the floor was in such bad shape. They ripped out the floor and they replaced it with just unfinished plywood sheets, just unfinished wood that they just kind of laid in the bottom of the plane to create a little bit of a floor. That's a comforting feeling, isn't it? Then I go to sit down and I quickly realize why they didn't actually assign seats to us, because about a third of the seats don't work. They're either leaning all the way back or they're leaning all the way forward or they're ripped out and it's nothing but the frame. There's no cushions on it. So quickly I realized you just find whatever seat you actually feel like you can sit in for this 4 or 5 hour flight. So I sit down in one of these seats. I try to look out the window. There's some old lace curtains like you'd have in a house or something. Old lace curtains in the windows. I try to pull one of those back to look in the window. This lace is so old, it just kind of crumbles as I touch it and just start falling apart, ripped as soon as I tried to pull it back. So you get an image of what this plane was like. Yeah, and it didn't get a whole lot better, because then all of a sudden I hear this yelling and this screaming. Turns out this plane only has one flight attendant. It's a Russian guy, a big old burly guy with a big old beard, and he is yelling at everyone in Russian. No friendly anything, just say, get the hell on the plane. I guess I don't speak Russian, but that's the impression I got. So he yells at us all till we're all sitting down. The plane takes off. I'm watching outside just to make sure the engines don't, fall off or something like that. They didn't, although I got to say those wings vibrated more than I'm used to seeing on most planes. The whole plane vibrated. The floor vibrated. I'm not sure they even actually bolted it to the bottom. I think they just figured gravity would keep it towards the bottom of the plane. Amazingly scary flight. But with all of that taking place, in the middle of the flight, this old burly flight attendant comes through to give us our little snacks. No honey roasted peanuts over there. He brought out little bowls of caviar and little shot glasses of vodka. And I think he brought 1 or 2 to the pilot as well. Vodka and caviar, as Russian as it goes. And so I thought, well, at least if the plane doesn't make it home, at least I'm going to finish off strong, right? So I actually like caviar. I didn't know until that point if I did or not. At least that kind was good. A little vodka, a little caviar. Could have given me just a little bit more considering how I was flying. So I'm in this plane. Eventually the plane lands. And the airport we're at is the tiniest little airport. It's like, really? This is the airport. This is the international airport that I'm taking home. But they told me, said that it's a direct flight. So just, make sure you get off at the first stop and your next flight will be just a little bit later. Okay. So I get off. I walk into the little terminal. There's no indoors. There's a little bit of a cinder block roof on top, or some kind of metal roof on top. Cinder block walls, but it's all open. There's one little kiosk selling a few foods here and there and everything else. And I know that I've got about a 2-hour layover before my international flight takes off. So I just kind of park, freezing cold. This is Kazakhstan in the wintertime, freezing cold. And as I start waiting, I realized that my luggage never came off the plane. And that got me a little bit worried. I hadn't been there but maybe 15 minutes or so. And I realized my luggage hadn't made it off the plane. So I go over, I start asking people, saying, hey, I'm trying to go Amadi. And eventually, then no one spoke English. But eventually I kept saying Amadi, which is the capital I was trying to fly to, until eventually a couple of people said, ticket. And I showed it to them, and they kept pointing where I was going, said, no, here, no. I was like, oh, geez, something happened. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. So I quickly ran over to the only airline person that was there, showed him my ticket, said, not Almaty, no! And they start yelling at me. Next thing I know, they're on the phone. Next thing you know, this plane, which is going down the runway, getting ready to take off, stops, turns back around, comes back to pick me up, which is good because I found out later it was the only flight of the day. Otherwise, I would have had to just hope that someone took me home with them, which could have been fun. Maybe could have been the start of a horror movie too. But either count on that or just spend the night in a freezing cold tundra airport. But fortunately, the plane came back. The door opens up, and who's standing in that doorway? A very PO'd, very irritated Russian flight attendant who starts yelling at me at the top of his lungs. Oh, I tell you what, if you can withstand that kind of chastisement, I knew at that point I could handle anything. I get back on the plane. Of course, everyone on the plane is also staring me down, and all I can say is, I'm American. I don't speak Russian. Finally, we get back in the air. Fly to Almaty. From there, I fly home, and all is well. But the scariest flight, there have been a few. I've taken a flight in Nigeria. The plane ticket was $10. Typically, I don't like to fly on planes where they try to maintain a plane for only $10 a ticket. But a story for another time, and maybe we'll tell that a little bit later. But yeah, because of all of that, watching the movie Plane just made me think about less than great situations in terms of safety and such. So there's a little story, not really a little story because I spent a lot of time talking about it, but there's a story for you all about my experiences in Kazakhstan. I love the country, but it's as foreign as I could possibly imagine. I don't speak Russian. At least in South America, I could speak some Spanish when people pulled guns on me and stuff. There, man, nothing at all. I'm not in a huge hurry to go back, but it was all right. It was okay. All right. So that's the story behind the background of the jet. I know I'm not going anywhere, at least not that I know of, but we shall see. All right, what do we have? I've been talking a while. Yeah, y'all give me some questions and comments up. REM, will a showmance between Claudia and Ty falter in Big Brother Canada due to Ty being so close to Zach? You know, I have not been watching the daily feeds. I haven't really been keeping up with the daily feeds. Now, I know who won the last HOH. I know who's been nominated. I think I know that. So who won safety. So I know a few things that have happened since the last episode, but I have been watching all the Big Brother Canada episodes. Can I just say this? I don't know what it is. I can't get into this season of Big Brother Canada. It's not that I dislike anyone. Even Zach, who could easily be a dislikable kind of person. I mean, he's very forceful, right? Very aggressive in the way he plays the game, which can certainly rub a lot of people the wrong way. But there's no one in this game that I really just actively am cheering against or actively cheering for. I like Claudia because I felt like she recognizes Bro Alliance early and all that. Ty, and we'll take it quick because I know not all of you are watching Big Brother Canada, but I thought Ty was going to just destroy everything he done. He and Claudia seemed a little tight, and then he starts getting upset because she's wearing, whose sweater was she? She was wearing someone else's sweater, and he got peeved because of that. Give me a break. You can't be that sensitive inside the house. Are you there to find a love connection, or are you there to win Big Brother? If you're there to win Big Brother, I shouldn't care if someone's wearing someone else's sweater, but whatever. As far as his connection with Zach, yeah, I think I think Claudia, more than some other people, may be playing the game a little bit from what I've seen, that she may like him, but she also recognizes that she may not always be able to trust him or depend on him if he's going to be so tight with these guys, right? I don't know. It's interesting. I feel like so early in the season, I hadn't just quite figured out the dynamics yet, other than the fact that all these guys seem so tight with each other. I don't know. We'll see. Again, I'm not to the point of watching it as soon as the episodes come on. I just haven't really gotten emotionally invested yet, but we'll see. Seasons can start a little slow and then suddenly take off. My season, a lot of people say the first part, not so much, and then it got crazy at the end. So we'll see. All right. Cindy Hire saying, love Spirograph, finished Traders. Oh, good. I'm glad you finished it. And got I lost your other comment. I love Traders. I love Traders, Cindy. And got your daughter to watch. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, no, I loved it, and I'm not gonna give any spoilers for that Traders, but I liked it too. I've got a little question at the end that I'll hold off because I don't know how to ask it without spoiling it for other people. But it seemed like at the end they kind of, I don't know. I'm surprised people didn't know more than they knew at the end. All right, you know what I'm talking about, right? I'm a little surprised that there wasn't more counting going on and thinking about stuff. But maybe there's rules probably that we weren't completely aware of. Maybe, I guess. But I like Traders. I've said it on here before. The Circle, yeah, if they asked me, I'd do it. But I feel I could do much better on the Traders than I would on a circle, just because of the interaction that goes on and everything else. Marilyn Sutherland saying, I heard rumors that there still might be a celebrity Big Brother. You heard anything? I saw a little mention here or there. No, I don't see it happening. It's too late in the season. I think if they were going to do it, we will have already heard. Now you're in the Big Brother Canada season, and then you'll have Big Brother US after that. I don't see it. I think maybe they're already trying to get a hold of people for next winter, right? As soon as Big Brother's over. I could see that, because these celebrities, us guys, we're a dime a dozen. Yeah, Big Brother could pick up the phone and call 20,000 people who would drop everything to show up at the Big Brother house on their own dime. I'll pay for airfare. I'll do everything. I just, let me show up. Celebrities, not so much. I think there's probably a little more pre-planning and approvals and everything else that takes place. So I could see them maybe planning for next winter. I don't think it's going to happen this time. And I've also heard these talks about Big Brother 25 being, the number 25, the big quarter century and all of that it could be All-Stars or something. I think it's been too soon since we had All-Stars back in 22. So I don't think they're going to do that either. Are they going to bring anyone back? They haven't done that for a while. I kind of almost don't think that either. We'll see. All I know is that Big Brother's coming back, and we got live feeds down here. Thank you for that. I'm glad that they got that. What would I do in the summertime if I didn't have the live feeds to watch? So we'll see. It's but yeah, I don't think they're gonna have a celebrity, not this year, but it'll be back. It's so funny, when I got the finale night, we had the vote. Jackson Mickey wins. They have a little question and answer, the interrogation. We'll just call it that, of Mickey. They get done. They cut off the show. We all go hugging each other and all that. My very first question to Julie Chen was, "Are we doing Celebrity Big Brother? And are we gonna have one this winter?" And she kind of looked taken aback. I guess that's the first thing I'd ask, but I guess she knew I was a real fan at that point. She said, "Yeah, no, we're gonna skip it this year, but probably next year." It's like, okay. I guess I get to live with my Big Brother legacy for just a little bit longer. I didn't want anyone else in that house sleeping in my beds, taking over my rooms anyway, so it was fine with me. But I like Celebrity Big Brother just as a nice little filler, but it's not the same. They aren't in the house nearly as long. They aren't as invested in it. It's Big Brother light. Yeah. That's what I think. It's Big Brother light. You get a taste of it, but it's not really Big Brother. Carson Creasley or someone's going to call me out, and I'm going to feel like an idiot, but just my opinion. All right. Wyatt Garrett going to see I've seen Neil McCoy. Going to see Neil McCoy and Joe Nichols at Billy Bob's on Saturday. Haven't seen Joe Nichols, but I've seen Neil McCoy a couple of times, I think, at the Houston Rodeo. I think that's where I saw him. He put on a good show. I haven't listened to his music in a while, but hey, yeah, you always got the lineup, Wyatt. You always got a fun one to watch. I watched some of Wyatt's postings on Instagram. You hang out with all the country people. That's incredible. All right, Michelle Moore. Have you ever been to the Springfield, Missouri airport? It's small. I don't think I've been to Springfield. I've been to some small airports over the years. I don't think I've been to Springfield. We're small. Baton Rouge didn't have a huge airport. Bakersfield out in California didn't have a huge airport. There's a few international. There's a few places I've been. They had tiny little airports. Argentina, I flew down to Patagonia once to visit with some clients down there. We landed. I think they had to mow the field before we landed and get the cows out of the way and stuff. I mean, I've been in some small ones here and there, but nothing too horrible. Rush is interesting. This didn't happen to me. It happened to one of my partners, coworkers. He flew into a tiny little city in Russia, landed. No problem. Did his meetings and all that. Came back, got ready to get on the plane and fly back home. It's Tuesday. That's when the flight leaves. Pilot said, we aren't flying home today. Why? Well, we don't have any fuel. We're waiting for the truck to show up. It didn't show up today, so we're just stuck here. He spent 3 or 4 days waiting for the fuel truck to show up at this little city just so they could fly back home. So, that's when you're out in the middle of nowhere. But you don't want to push the issue too much, because the last thing you want is a pilot saying, I think we probably have enough. We'll probably be okay. Let's go for it. Yeah, no, not so much. I don't want any kind of, probably okay with regards to tattoos or airplanes, or I'm sure there's a few others I can throw out there as well. But yeah, there's some quaint little, we'll call them quaint, little airports here and there. But now I'm used to these big behemoths, and there's some cool ones, man. I've been to Singapore has an amazing airport. Schiphol and Amsterdam has amazing. Yeah, I don't hear that. I'll tell y'all airport stories somewhere down the road. All right, Marianne saying, did you know how each vote was going to go before you voted? And did you ever think about changing your vote to change things up? Did I know every single one? Well, I didn't know the one that I was booted from, although I did know right before they went in to cast the votes, because Tommy looked at Nicole and myself and said, guys, I'm sorry. But he was staring at me. And at that point, I was like, I'm getting booted. You can't lie, Tommy, I know. So that was, I didn't know that one. The rest of them, no, I think I knew every single vote who was going home. The question was, did I know, were there going to be hinky votes thrown out? Any extra votes to try to manipulate and throw things around and all? The closest vote was Sam and Kat, the last pre-jury member. That one, I knew once we sat down that Sam was going home. I thought, unless someone just really was up to some crazy stuff. But that one, right up until the very last second, I wasn't sure which way the vote was going to go. But the rest of them, I think I knew who was going home. Did I consider throwing a vote to change things up a little bit? Not so much. I thought about when Kimmy and Jessica were on the block, maybe changing a vote just to create a little suspicion, because I was trying to create a wedge in this big alliance at the time and all that. The issue was that I was afraid if I cast that vote, everyone would blame it on Nicole, and she and I were working together, so I didn't want to do that. Well, then Jackson Mickey does it anyway, and she gets the blame, which makes me kind of think, if I'd done it as well and there were 2 votes, I don't know what they would have suspected, who the other person they would have suspected was. But no, if you go back and look at my history, I think I probably voted with a majority every single vote. I'm pretty sure that I had the opportunity to vote. Good, I could read the room, and it just wasn't worth causing disruption and finger pointing if I felt like I was in the majority anyway. So yeah, and I thought about it. There never was really a good opportunity to do so. But if you can call this disruption, you need to go for it. That's they always worry about those hinky votes, with good reason, I guess. But does it really matter? I know I felt so bad for Sam. Sam got sent home, and one of the reasons he got sent home is because he had voted to protect Bella, to save her, even though he knew that she was going home no matter what. He still gave his vote to her to save her. We knew it wouldn't make any difference at all, but people use that as an excuse just to vote Sam out. And he was tight with Nick and Bella, but that was part of the reason that they were so quick to send him out. May have made the difference when we were talking about Kat versus Sam, and that's kind of unfair. He just threw out there as a show of support. And there's certainly times I kind of wish I'd voted to save Ovi, even though it wouldn't have mattered, just so it wasn't a unanimous vote in that very first vote. I've thought about it and kind of wish I would have. But at the time, I felt so threatened. I'd just gotten pulled off the block. I knew I was still a huge target. I didn't want to do anything to rock the boat. It is what it is. All right, REM saying, how many airports does Texas have? Several. DC has 3. Well, Texas has a bunch of airports. Here in Houston, we've got 2. We've got Intercontinental up north. We've got Houston Hobby down south, my side of town. And then we got a couple of private airports as well. I flew out of one of them, Hooks Airport. Kind of makes you feel special when you fly a charter flight out of a private airport. I've only done that once or twice, but 2 big ones, and then a couple of municipal airports and everything else. But now the big airports, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Austin and San Antonio have them as well. So yeah, we got them. We got them everywhere down here. All right, what else do we have? Vicky Stone, do you have to play dirty to win, Big Brother? Has anyone playing an honest game ever won? That second question is a pretty good question. Has anyone playing an honest game ever won? Maybe not. I don't know. But do you have to play a dirty game to win? Define dirty. I mean, I feel like I played a pretty clean game, but even I occasionally had to be a little misleading with people. I know when Mickey and Christy started going after each other, I may have stretched the truth a little bit a few times about just what people told me and why they told me and all of that. So even myself occasionally had to push it a little bit. But I tried to play clean. Yeah, now I will say this: going in, I said, "Yeah, whatever. I'll play as dirty as I need to be to win $500,000." And I didn't really change my opinion while I was in there. I just realized pretty quickly that people believing and trusting me carried a lot of weight and really helped me, I think, with some of the votes and alliances and all of that. So after a while, it's like, well, geez, why should I screw all that up by backstabbing someone until I have to? Yeah, maybe I didn't pull the trigger quite quickly enough. But has anyone ever won without backstabbing and betrayals and all that? There may be one or two. I'd have to think about it. I've been watching since season 8, and I can't think of any right off the top of my head. Everyone's done a little bit here and there, but that's within the rules. And I do think there's two different kinds of rules. There's the absolute just personal dirty. I just don't like you, so I'm going to boot your tail out of the house. And then there's the more, hey, it's nothing personal. It's just, I know you're with this other group. I know you represent a vote. Man, I love you, but you got to go. And I do find a distinction between those two. But here's a bigger question. If you could play clean and win, would you want to watch that? Would it get a little boring? Short term, maybe not, because I think you'd have one person doing that and a whole lot of people that are all just targeting them and everything else, or her. But I don't know. We all watch it for the drama and the chaos, right? The very first season of Big Brother, when the audiences voted on who they wanted to keep and who they wanted to get out, it didn't go so well. They almost canceled it because we, as a viewing public back then, we voted out all the people we didn't like, all the villains, the mean people, the backstabbers. We kept the nice, friendly people that were representing who we thought people should be. And as a result, it got really boring in the second half of that season, right? So unlike other countries, they changed it and said, yeah, we're going to let the people inside vote out because y'all guys are too nice, the viewing public. So they changed it up because of that. So I like the cast. I like the villains in the house. Now, while I was in the house, maybe not so much, but I get it. You got to have a mix of a lot of people, which is part of what casting has to do when they talk to all of us guys. Moss saying, think you got a little dirty. Even Ian got dirty. We all have to. You can't come right out and tell people, here's my elimination order, or yeah, I'm going to be final 2. I can't be final 2 with you, even though you're asking, because I already said I'm going to be a final 2 with this person. It doesn't work that way. You start doing too much of that. Next thing you know, they're booting you out, because as nice as it is for people to be able to trust you, they also don't necessarily want to be putting their faith in someone who they don't think will go that extra mile in order to help them out and to stay alive. So it's tough. Could you go through from start to finish? I feel like I came close. I mean, I feel like I could have just pulled back once or twice and done okay, but that was not my objective. My objective was to represent my family well, and who I am as well, and all that. But it was also to win the money. And if one or the other came to it, Jeff Schroeder asked me during the preseason. He said, "Would you rather be loved and lose, or win and be hated?" And at the time, I told him, I said, $500,000 buys a whole bunch of don't give a dams, and I stand by that. Give me that money. I'll deal with the other stuff later. Now, Jackson Mickey, he won. He had to deal with a whole lot of stuff. So maybe there's a little balance there. I don't want to be like vile, hated, and all of that. Call me a villain, but don't hate me as a person. But it's a heck of a game. That's what makes it so much fun. It's what makes it so much excitement to watch the game, right? All right, Amanda Lowe. Any Easter pranks planned this year? I've been thinking about it. I don't know. It's probably going to be something involving food colors, or last year I got the Carolina Reaper Cheetos and managed to sneak those in a regular bowl and watch my nieces and nephews and brothers and a bunch of people try those things. We're a Texas family, though. Once they're caught off guard, a little hot in the mouth, but after that, they actually chowed down on those hot Cheetos. They loved them. And we're not talking about flaming hot Cheetos. We're talking about they sell them here in Texas, a grocery store called H-E-B. They're Carolina Reaper, and these are hot. These are super hot. I have them most days for lunch. So yeah, I did that last year. This year, yeah, I don't know. Throw me some food coloring. I thought, should I say this? Because there'll probably be family members watching, checking this out to find breaks. So no, I'll hold off on it. I thought about one thing. I don't know if we'll do it or not. We're gonna have the whole family together to do Christmas, which is nice. We had that one Christmas, Easter. We had that one Easter we couldn't because of COVID. It just makes you appreciate family, friends, and loved ones that much more, right? But yeah, I don't know. Well, we may come up with something. I've done it. I've done it before. I've taken eggs and I've hidden eggs out in the middle of nowhere. I've taken the plastic eggs and before the kids find them, or even after they find them, emptied out the candy and put little mini carrots or little gherkin pickles in there and things like that. They're expecting a little Twix candy bar, instead they get pickle. Yeah, they're not so appreciative of it. Doesn't seem like. But yeah, I'll do something. All right. Speaking of food and all, I want to show y'all one thing, and then we may go to something else. There's a new, y'all know I like Dr. Pepper, right? Dr. Pepper was invented here in Texas. Huge fan of Dr. Pepper. When I was inside the Big Brother house, I won HOH, and I told him, said, man, get me a 6-pack of Dr. Pepper, get me a 6-pack of Texas beers. Well, they couldn't do the Texas beers. They got me Heineken or something. It was all right, but they couldn't follow through on that, but they did get me a 6-pack of Dr. Peppers. But I want to let y'all know they came out. Dr. Pepper's got a new seasonal, short, limited edition only, a new flavor of Dr. Pepper, which I tried out. Can y'all see that? I don't know if you can read that. Strawberries and cream, Dr. Pepper. Now, I love me some strawberries. Probably my favorite fruit of all. Pineapple's close second, but strawberry is probably my favorite fruit of all. So a Dr. Pepper that also has little strawberries in there, a little cream in there. I went and bought a few of them, tried one out over the weekend. I wouldn't drink it when I was thirsty. I wouldn't drink it as part of a meal or anything else because it's very sweet. You know what it tastes like? It tastes like they took a chocolate, one of those candies that you get in the Valentine's Day candies or something. It's like one of the candies that's the chocolate covered that has a cherry inside. You bite into it, you see that bright pink flavor. That's what it tastes like. They just liquefied that. It's got a very strawberry cherry kind of flavor with just a little bit of chocolate mixed in. So again, it's very sweet, but just drink it by itself. It's like having dessert. Of course, it probably has all the sugar of a dessert as well. But I tried some of that. I went on to different sites, people in other parts of the country that don't have access to it. They are paying crazy money to get these strawberries and cream Dr. Peppers. I feel like I ought to just load up an RV with a couple of 100 cases of this and just hit the nation. Do a little Big Brother meet and greets all over the country. And hey, come by, pay $5. You get a strawberries and cream Dr. Pepper, and we'll give all the money to Give Kids the World something. Work interferes with that. Wouldn't be able to do it, but I don't know. I think more people would maybe come to get these dang Dr. Peppers than they would come to see me. But yeah, it's pretty good. So if you live in part of the country that has strawberries and cream Dr. Pepper, check it out. Let me know what you think. So there you go. All right, let's see what else we got. REM saying a favorite prank. Well, are we talking about inside the Big Brother house or just life in general? Inside the Big Brother house, it's got to be the fake rat that I created. I noticed up in the have not room, it was set up to look like an old fishing camp, and there were these old torn up tackle boxes and rod and reels and things like that. Well, I noticed there was a whole bunch of fishing line that was there as well. And so I actually took a whole bunch of that fishing line and collected it. And at one point, I also realized that our dryer out in the backyard produced a lot of lint because everyone's washing so many clothes, 16 of us in there. So it produced a lot of dryer lint. So I went back and pulled out a big old mass of dryer lint, took the fishing line and wrapped it around this dryer lint enough times that it kind of kept the shape of a rat, kind of an oblong looking, gray, hairy looking thing, tied it all together, and then took some more fishing line and made a real long line out of it. Stuck that thing up underneath the a little hole that was underneath the corner of our kitchen and just waited for people to come by. And a few people, like Kimmy, I think she knew it. She wouldn't fall for it. But the one I remember is that Jackson, Mickey, and Nick Macarone were there. And I pulled that thing out and all of a sudden yelled rat. They jumped back. Nick jumps in a single jump. He's up on the table, if I recall. Jackson Mickey has jumped back. He actually hurt his foot in the process of doing it. and I felt bad about that. But I've never seen people respond so quick. So that was probably my favorite prank inside the Big Brother house. I liked it. It was a lot of fun. Um, Outside the house, I don't know. There's so many. Y2K. As soon as the clock struck midnight, I was out in the garage. I hit the switch, turned off all the breakers because back then everyone thought we were gonna go into complete meltdown and we'd be back to the Stone Age because of computers and all that. So that was about 15 seconds of pure fear from everyone at our New Year's Eve party until my mom, who was there, said, "Where's Cliff?" She knows me, so maybe that was a prank. I don't know. I've gotten my brothers with chewing gum that makes your mouth turn black and just a bunch of silly stuff. But when it works pretty well. So yeah, I definitely had fun while I was doing some pranks inside the house. Oh, Christy, she had a thing of melted water tea. I don't remember. I put a bouillon cube in there. Sure enough, she left it there for about an hour, so it had all kinds of time to melt. And so when she came back, she took a sip, and it tasted like soup or whatever. And we had fun in the house. It was so boring in there. You had to do something to have fun. REM saying, "Did you keep the rat?" No, I should have. Wouldn't that be something if I'd asked him about that? I don't remember what happened to that thing. It got set aside at some point. Yeah, I don't know. I should have. I ought to do it again. I could still get people with it. I thought it was pretty innovative, though. I mean, put me in prison. I could probably figure out a way to escape from Alcatraz or something because, a little dryer lint and a fishing line. I figured out how to prank people. It worked out all right. Amanda's saying, one year, a local newspaper put on the front page that Dr. Pepper was going out of business and would no longer be made. People were nuts. It was on April Fool's Day. You got to learn. Yeah, you should know better, right? I remember, just to show how old I was, I guess. I remember back in the day when Coke decided they were going to switch to new Coke, a new formula. You would think that they were banning music or something in this country, the way people responded. I still don't know whether that was just a horrific mistake by Coca-Cola or a brilliant marketing move, because all of a sudden they came out with new Coke, and we all, at least down here in Texas, were tasting it saying, "Oh, it's too sweet. We don't like it." And people start hoarding the old Coke. Yeah, I'm going to hold on to it for the next 20 years. Buying up all the old Coke they can and complaining about the new Coke. And next thing you know, Coke's come back saying, "Yeah, okay, we'll come back with the original flavor. We're going to call it classic." I don't even think they may in y'all's parts of the world. I don't even think they sell new Coke down here anymore. Did you know all my international travels, I didn't realize at the time, but I've since found out, different parts of the country, they all sell Coke and Pepsi. I mean, it's worldwide, right? But in different parts of the country, they either ramp up or tone down the sweetness a little bit based on where you are and what the local preference is. And I think in the Middle East, I want to say in the Middle East and maybe South America, Coke's a little bit sweeter than it is here in the United States. I think. I could be wrong, but I know there's one or two areas where I would taste it. It's like, there's a lot of sugar in here. Yeah, they ramped up the syrup content a little bit because of that. So yeah, they kind of tweak the formulas from one spot to the other around the world. That was kind of cool. A little trivia from Cliff Notes Live this evening. So all right, let's see what else we got going on. I've been talking forever. One thing that I was going to do, and David Hosner mentioned this, and it was you, and David, about some casting. I think I'm gonna hold off to do this. Sorry, Brian. Brian had suggested that with Big Brother casting going on, should I do it? Yeah, I'll do it. Brian, I hope you're watching. I didn't see you out here, but if not, you'll be watching later. I hope. Brian had suggested with Big Brother casting going on, and I highly encourage you. Why did I say David? I highly encourage all of y'all to go out and make a video to apply for Big Brother. The worst that's going to happen is that some intern gets to watch you on the computer or on your tape, right? And you never know, you may get the call. But he suggested that since everyone's putting their videos together, what if I gave y'all the video that I would submit if I'd never been on Big Brother previously? If I'm just trying out for the show, just like everyone else is, what kind of video would I give that I think would get me on the show? And I thought about it, and we've got about 10 minutes. I'll go ahead and do that. Yeah, just as a background, some of y'all may know, not all of you. I never actually submitted a video for Big Brother because I showed up at an open casting call. And so I actually just talked to the producers. And then later they came in and they did a video of me, but it was interaction and questions and answers and things like that. So I never sat down and did a little 3-minute video. So I thought, well, that would be kind of fun. What would I say if I was trying out on video instead? So for y'all guys tonight, I think I'm gonna do it. If y'all are okay with that, I give it a shot. I haven't practiced, I haven't rehearsed, I haven't timed it. Now I've thought about what I would say just because I've done several interviews during the tryout process and all that, but I haven't really timed it. But we'll see if we can keep it to 3 minutes plus or minus, right? I'm going to treat it just like there's a camera on me. I'm going to film this thing. I'm going to send it in. No stopping, nothing else. All right. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Howdy, guys. My name is Cliff Hogg. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I am a huge Big Brother fan. I've been watching it since season 8. I've been watching the live feeds from, I don't know, when they were still on Showtime. So I've been watching a lot of Big Brother over the years. Got my wife involved, got my kids as fans as well. Do you understand? I really love Big Brother, and to get to go in that house would be incredible. Now, a little bit of information about me. I said I was from Texas. You kind of figured that out, right? I'm from Texas. I am a graduate of Texas A&M University. You got to have an Aggie every year, right? I'm as Aggie as they come. I'm also an oil man. I've got a petroleum engineering degree. I work in the oil field. Between being a Texan, an Aggie, and an oil man, I'm as braggadocious. I'm as loud as you could possibly imagine. I know you got microphones in that house. You're not going to need them with me. Nah, I'm a talker. I'll talk to anyone at any time. I'll talk to the wall. So I really enjoy talking. Now, why would I want to go in the house? Why would I do well in the house? Let's face it. Why would I win the game of Big Brother? And here's the thinking. I've been a petroleum engineer my entire life. Well, since I got out of school, I've been an oil man forever. I have been all over the world. I have faced all kinds of different situations. I've slept under bulletproof blankets. I've had guns pointed at me. I've been involved in potential kidnappings, airplane crashes. I've been out in the middle of nowhere. I've dealt with every kind of culture, person, situation you could ever possibly imagine. I've seen it all. And if I'm going to be in that house 99 days, which I will be, if I'm going to be in there 99 days, I'm going to have at least 100 stories to tell. I tend to repeat myself, so maybe 200 or 300 stories. I'm going to have a lot of stories to tell, and I think that's going to really help my social game. I'm going to be able to entertain everyone else in the house, and I think that's going to keep me around long enough for people to get to know me and allow me to play my social game. Now, you look at me, you may not be able to tell that I'm not necessarily in my 20s anymore. Now I'm 53 years old. I've watched the game long enough to know that the older people sometimes get booted a little bit early, right? Yeah, I get it. Now, if this is a special geriatric season, I'm going to run circles around those people with the canes and the walkers. I'm going to kick their rear ends. But if I'm the oldest person in there, I get it. I understand I'll be a target. It's okay. I'm willing to accept that extra challenge. But here is what it means. It means that I'm going to have to play harder and more aggressively at the very beginning than other people. There's no floating taking place with me because I know there's going to be a target on my back just because of my age. Any twist that you have in the beginning, that first HOH, man, I'm going for it all. I'm going to be the hardest player in the beginning because I have to. I need to stick around for the first couple of weeks in order to develop the social game. Now, once I've done that and people start liking me and appreciating my strategies, my alliances and all that, I'll win a few competitions here and there. I'm not going to win them all, but I'll win enough to provide some protection and some support for other people. But it's going to be my social game. That's what I'm going to excel at. And I think that's why I'm going to win Big Brother. Man, give me a call. I am ready to get in that house. I'm ready. I know you look at me. You look at a white guy wearing a cowboy boot from Texas, working at oil field. I know y'all have made all kinds of assumptions already about who I am as a person. I'm here to prove you wrong. And I know when I go in that house, other house guests are going to make those same assumptions. I'm going to prove them wrong as well. And they're going to pay the price for making assumptions that may not be valid. So give me a call. I'm ready to come in, not just play the game. I'm ready to win the game. Y'all have a great one. I'm waiting, guys. Cheers, my friends. Bye. There you go. I don't even know if that was 3 minutes. Close enough, right? I hope so. So yeah, that's when I tried out. I mentioned that as a storyteller. I had like a minute to talk, so a lot less of that. But I mentioned that. The rest of it, it's all about having a conversation. You don't have to rehearse anything. It's okay if you stumble on your word here and there. They want to see the real you. They just want to see you talking to them and how you would interact with other people. So when you're doing your videos, just present you, whoever you are. Figure out what you maybe do a little differently than other people. Focus on that. For me, it's the stories. It's the experiences I've had over the years and all that. That's what I focus on. Everyone's got something special. Focus on that and just have a conversation. And if one of y'all get on there, oh, I would be so incredibly excited. It'd be very cool. There you go. All right. Ma saying, what's the difference between what you said and what you actually said during the casting call? All right. Not that different, Ma. The casting call, there were 5 or 6. I don't think I can say. Is there 5 or 6 of us in there? And producers went around and asked every person different questions. They asked me, said, why do you think you do well on Big Brother? And I said, well, here's why I would win Big Brother. It's because I'm a storyteller. People will be invested in what I do and they'll enjoy having me around and that'll give me the chance I need. That's about all I said. They asked someone else in the line, they said, who would you pick as an alliance partner? And she said, I'd pick Cliff because I think if someone came after me, he'd probably go after them and kill them. And, the fact that she mentioned my name, I think suggested to the producers that I'd been interacting with everyone else in line around me, that I already was friends with all these people that I was in that room with. And so I think that kept them from thinking, this old guy, he won't ever be able to connect with these younger people because I'd done it in the casting call. But that was it. It was a very quick conversation. And I thought, that was fun. All right, now back to regular life. But I guess they saw something, right? But no, the casting calls, you have very limited time to talk. That's the beauty of the videos, is you can actually present what you want them to see and maybe make it a little bit more personable, I guess. I don't know. I enjoy it. I think I did better at a casting call than I would have on a video because I could interact with the people and I could look them in the face and all that. But that's okay. But that's pretty much what I said, just a lot quicker. Ma saying Cliff indeed kept his promise on his competitions. Well, I wish I'd kept my promise on just 1 or 2 more competitions there at the end. Yeah, I won a few. Do y'all know the competition that I am upset more than any other that I didn't win that I really thought I should have won? There was one called Coral Grief where you had to make a mobile. It's like a kid's mobile, except it was with stuffed animals. We were wearing swim fins. You had to balance them on all these poles. The most frustrating. And I had it figured out exactly where I needed to put, my mathematical mind. I knew exactly what stuffed animal needed to go on which bar based on mathematics and all of that. The problem was these bars were so slippery. Just as I thought I had it on there, one of them would slip off and they'd all fall. So that was the issue, not so much figuring out what went where. But when I saw that, I thought, this is my competition. Yeah, it turned out not to be the case. Now, it was okay because I think that's about the time that Jackson Mickey started putting Christy up anyway, which I certainly had no problem with. But yeah, I was upset I didn't win that one, but I won a few other ones. So yeah, I made my mark. I was all right. So yeah, thank you, Brian. I appreciate the suggestion. I enjoyed doing that. All right, Vicky Stone saying, great video. If I were casting, I'd pick you. Well, thank you, Vicky. I do think it helped that I'm in this line of 300, 400, 500. There were a lot of people at this casting call, and I was at the very back. Maybe they picked me just because these poor casting people said, oh my God, we've seen 700 people, and not a single one of them really seems to work. Pick this guy. He's the last one in line. Whatever, just pick him. I don't even care at this point. I think that's probably not the case. I think it's probably more, could be. I don't care at this point. I think it's more that the producer said, my God, there's 700 people here that are between the ages of 20 and 29. And then there's that one old fogey back there with the cowboy hat on that must think this is a Social Security office or something because he's in the wrong place. But then I got in there, I talked to him, and I think I made him chuckle once or twice. And so, yeah, I do think as hard as it is, because I realized going in, there's only one slot for the older person, right? So it's going to be that much tougher to get on this show. But there were a whole lot fewer older people trying out. So in some ways that hurt, but it also helped me. And I remember when I got done in LA. Yeah, we have to go out there and spend a week and audition and all that. When I got done, I told people over there, I said, all right, if you get any other older folks, just don't even fly them out here. If they're at the airport, go ahead and tell them to go back home because the slot's been filled this year. Y'all got who you need, right? Like, all right, Cliff, we'll keep that in mind. And as they smirked, it worked out, right? I always feel bad there. There probably was some other older person that showed up later and thought, man, I got this. Yeah, they may have already decided. I hope they already decided. They never tell you, was I a lock from the very beginning or was I a very last second pick? I don't know. One of these days, it may not be until after Big Brother is canceled and all the secrets are revealed. I'd love to find the casting people and say, tell me what was going through y'all's mind. Give me the input from the other side. Right now, they wouldn't say a word, but somewhere down the road, maybe. I keep track with some of them just for that reason alone, because someday I'm going to be asking that question. Maybe Big Brother 99 may be taking place, and I'll be long. I don't know. I may still be in the house. Yeah, 120-year-old Cliff's playing once again. Yeah, you never know what goes through these people's mind. It is definitely a puzzle trying to fit the puzzle pieces together. And fortunately, my little piece fit just fine. All right, 7:57. It goes so fast. All right, Marianne saying, I remember when Taco Bell said that they bought the Liberty Bell. Big news story for the week. You know what? It's all about commercialization in this country anyway, right? Yeah. Our not so much football or baseball yet, but soccer, they've got all kinds of logos. Racing, they got all kinds of logos. It'll happen for the other sports. Why not the Liberty Bell and Yellowstone National Park, brought to you by AMC's Yellowstoners? Hey, if it makes things a little bit cheaper, gaudy, but hey, that's who we are nowadays, right? Yeah, everything. Brooklyn Bridge is brought to you by Uber or something. I don't know. Everything will be logoed up somewhere down the road. You'll just accept that. Artificial intelligence, everything else going on. Hey, welcome to the new world, right? All right, guys, 7:58. I think I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. I hope you've all enjoyed this Monday, last Monday, so of March, not of ever. Enjoy your Monday night. Oh, I almost didn't tell you. Any of you who live in the South, well, I don't know how far you're willing to drive, but certainly the Texas area, the viewing party, Wednesday night, March 29th, this coming up Wednesday, Survivor 44 viewing party. We're doing it Duck McShweemy's. I think that's the name of the place. It's here in Houston. We're going to have a bunch of former Survivor people there, myself, maybe one or two other Big Brother people as well. We're going to have a whole lot of reality TV, CBS kind of folks show up, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Watch that. So if you're close enough that you want to drive to Houston, come and see it. And if you do, you better find me. You better tell me that you watch the show on Monday nights, or else I'm going to be incredibly disappointed that you didn't come up and say, hey, but we got that going on Wednesday night. Other thing, guys, if you haven't already done so, I didn't mention in the beginning, I always love doing this show. I hope y'all enjoy as well. Think about going out there and hitting subscribe if you haven't done so already, so that you get notification. Turn on notifications as well. You'll find out whenever this show is about to start up. And you can hit a thumbs up while you're out there as well. And it looks good. I guess it helps the algorithms, but I'm always appreciative of it. Guys, have a fantastic Monday. Enjoy the rest of your week. It's getting hot down here. It'll be summertime before you know it. Enjoy the rest of your week. I will be back again next Monday. We got another episode of Survivor Wednesday. I'm so excited. Until then, guys, have a great one. SKD 143. Love my wife. Love my kids. Love all the reality TV fans out there, but especially love you guys. Y'all have a great one. Talk to you later. Cheers, my friends. Bye. See y'all.